Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So it's now official that JD Vance is the Republican nominee to be Vice President of the United States. And for me, that means it's time to dig into his 2A record and see exactly where he stands on our constitutional rights. And I want to share with you guys what I found. Now, real quick before we get started, I am proud to be sponsored by Attorneys on Retainer. If you guys remember, I used to be sponsored by another company that was somewhat similar until I found out that it was somebody sitting in a cubicle at an insurance company somewhere determining whether or not I am actually covered. I could not recommend that anymore. I could not suggest it anymore. I had to get away from that. And I am happy that I did, because Attorneys on Retainer, they are actual attorneys and they are not going to turn you down if something is questionable. If you carry to defend yourself, I implore you to check out Attorneys on Retainer. There's be a link and a discount down in the description box, and you guys need to check them out. When you call Attorneys on Retainer, instead of getting somebody at a cubicle or somebody in a call center somewhere, you actually get an actual attorney, which starts your instant attorney-client privilege. Everything that you say to them is going to be confidential. It is an extremely important thing to have in your wallet. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here and find out where JD Vance stands on the Second Amendment. Now, what's nice is that we have an existing voting record from his time in the Senate, which means we don't have to look at anything that was said on the campaign trail to get his Senate seat. We don't have to look at what he promised. We get to look at what he delivered. Now, what he delivered, it turns out, is phenomenal. As a matter of fact, he has a 100% score from the GOA, which to me is extremely exciting. As a matter of fact, that's probably one of the most uplifting things that I have heard all day. As a matter of fact, just moments ago, the GOA posted this to their X account, which actually shows some of his voting records on this topic. So you can see here, he voted yes to invalidate the ATF pistol brace rule, which I think is an extremely important vote. Now you can see here on this next one that he had a no vote for the fiscal year 2024 National Defense Authorization Act. And the reason that he voted against that is because it would have reauthorized the Undetectable Firearms Act of 1988. So that was the one that a lot of us talked about, where essentially there was like gun control hidden in the Authorization Act itself. Now, it's nice to see that he voted yes on this next one, because this is the bill that would stop the VA from disarming 20,000 veterans every single year. So again, it was basically a bill. It was Senator Kennedy's amendment to stop the Department of Affairs bureaucrats from disarming an estimated 20,000 veterans a year. Now, the last one the GOA has listed here was another no vote for a fiscal year 2024 appropriations bill. And the reason was because in this appropriations bill, there was tens of millions of dollars that was appropriated for essentially research that would turn into forms of gun control. So basically, they didn't want to spend tens of millions of dollars to infringe on people's rights. So that was fantastic. Now, I also want to reference this paragraph that came from an article about Vance and his 2A stance from the Truth About Guns. And it says, concerning other 2A matters, Vance supports right to carry reciprocity legislation, opposes gun confiscation schemes that would strip Americans of their rights without due process, red flag legislation, opposes bans on AR-style rifles and common standard capacity magazines that can hold more than 10 rounds, opposes universal background checks, and supports legislation that would protect veterans' Second Amendment rights. In fact, his dedication to freedom landed him the full support of the NRA during his Senate run. So again, that's what is being reported by T-Tag. So again, this is a really encouraging news. So as you can see from that, it seems like he has a pretty strong stance on this issue. Now, in my lifetime, if you were to go back, 12, 16, 20 years ago, things were completely different. And getting somebody who had a voting record like this was pretty much impossible. It just didn't exist. So it's nice to see that there are allies to the Constitution that have a chance of actually, dictating what the laws are in this country. So even though it's the executive branch and it's not the legislative branch, again, there is influence that is garnered there, and obviously that kind of drives the narrative. So having somebody up there behind the wheel that has a constitutional view is extremely important, and we cannot overlook that. So I just wanted to share that with you, maybe give you a little bit more insight on this topic. And, obviously knowledge is power, right? The more we know about something, the better off we are. So I want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. You guys have a great day.